Why doesn't Fromsoft just buy Bloodborne off Sony, then remaster, PC port it, and make a sequel? There's actually a pretty good answer for this. And to answer that question, a tangent. This is the manga known as Glass Mask. This is a solid 8 out of 10 read if you like drama, a solid 6 out of 10 otherwise. It makes you feel things and hate characters in all the way that's great. Why are we bringing this up? Because I'm going to spoil the core thread of this manga. Go read it first. This woman is Chigusa Tsuchikage. I'm going to butcher all of the Japanese in here. I'm apologizing it now. Expect me to be bad at this going forward. She is the mentor for the protagonist, Maya. But Maya's not important. Or she kind of is. I'll get to it. Chigusa is the teacher of a school for a time, and also the IP rights holder for a play called The Crimson Goddess. The Crimson Goddess is a cultural touchstone in this universe. It is considered very important, and it hasn't been run in damn near 20-30 years because Chigusa has been trying to find a successor to play the Crimson Goddess, and she doesn't want to sell the rights to anybody. This is Hajime Onodera. He runs the Dato Corporation. The Dato Corporation has been doing heinous-ish. Let's be real. Onodera has been ordering heinous-ish to be done to Chigusa, from screwing with her finances, making it hard for her to find healthcare. She's sick, whatever, big spoiler, whatever. To the point of her entire school, like acting school, getting shut down. And when it's clear that Maya is going to be a possible inheritor of the, role of the Crimson God. Possible, I say possible. There are 2 women on this, but don't worry about that. Onodera here makes her life hell too, to the point of all of the little threads throughout the show. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them. Some of them are her own, issues, or outside other people that aren't him. Basically making their lives hell to sort of pressure them into sell the Crimson Goddess to Onodera. But why don't they just sell to him? What's with all the... I want to explain something here. Onodera is unhealthily obsessed with the Crimson Goddess. Like, I'm talking, like, autistically obsessed, but, like, not okay. To the point where the playwright, who was the original IP rights holder, who left the rights to the Crimson Goddess to Chigusa, killed himself because of all of the bad accounting things that have happened to him, the bad business dealings, getting shaken down by the Yakuza, all orchestrated by Onodera to put him in a position financially to pressure him into selling the Crimson Goddess, which is why Chigusa won't fucking sell to him. Just for a frame of reference as to why, like, how obsessed he is, he made his wife and like a new wife with already made stepson, family, like whatever. That's a whole plot line. Don't worry. Like, you'll read the freaking manga, you'll get into it. Run into his house is on fire. He has enshrined an entire room, large room, enshrined to the Crimson Goddess, her costume, all the play, everything. Autistic obsession to the max. And made his wife, like, he was yelling at her, save the Crimson Goddess, just constantly, just lead-brained yelling at her to save the Crimson Goddess. And so this poor woman pours water over her head, runs into a burning building, saves the costume from the original play, and I think dies of heat stroke right there. And there's, plot for other characters and stuff, whatever. The point is that Onodera is obsessed with the Crimson Goddess and will do anything to get a hold of it. So, Evan, you must be wondering, why are you talking about Glass Mask? We're talking about Bloodborne and Fromsoft, and why Fromsoft doesn't buy Bloodborne from Sony. Well, here's the point. This is Shuhei when he played Demon Souls on its debut and said this was the worst game I've ever played, and panned it. And after the people who translate Persona took a shot on Demon Souls and it sold gangbusters in the West, he actually sat down and played it for real afterwards and was immediately obsessed with the game. By this point, Fromsoft Sony had its shares of Fromsoft bought out by Bandai Namco. And by the time, and it wasn't Demon Souls that he played all the way through, it was Dark Souls he played all the way through. This was the second game. And by the time he realized, oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever played, I'm obsessed with this, Sony didn't control Fromsoft anymore. So this is where we get Bloodborne. Bloodborne was made basically because this executive pushed and begged Miyazaki to make a game for PlayStation. This is why Bloodborne was a PlayStation exclusive. This is why Bloodborne also, when they were done with it, they were done with it. We didn't get a port, we didn't get a release. That's also the reason why we've gotten a Demon Souls remaster and we haven't gotten, remasters of any of the other ones, was because Demon Souls was wholly owned by Sony. Dark Souls completely owned by Fromsoft. Bloodborne jointly owned. And they haven't done anything with it because they haven't been able to come to the table. And this is my speculation, because that Sony executive wants something, a piece of Fromsoft to be able to remaster it. Now, granted, that executive is working on other projects. He's no longer the president of one of the presidents of Sony, but he's still around and his influence is still there. So do you remember why I brought up Glass Mask and the obsession? While this particular executive's obsession may not be on the same level of heinous behavior, I think it's certainly a good explanation why Fromsoft is not able to just buy it off. God knows, after those Elden Ring sales, they were certainly able to afford it. So, it's not because they don't want to, and it's not because they can't afford to. It's because politics and executive obsession. But hope I answered your question.